Winner bracket semi-final. We are in Group B right now, and we got the Munchies going up against Fields of Zeerman. Another best of 3 series here at the Underdog Cup. We have the Munchies from Division 2, and the red team plays in Division 3. So again, if you don't know what the Underdog Cup is, it is a tournament that is specifically targeting amateur teams. So if you are in Heroes Lounge, if you're a team that plays there, you are eligible to play in this tournament, with the exception of the teams that are in Division 1. The whole idea is to make this an interesting experience and kind of fun for teams that are a little bit lower, so they don't have to go up against the absolute top level. We had this already previously, and it was honestly a lot of fun. We had 2 tournaments like this already, and it's just, the general idea is just to boost the grassroots a little bit, to give teams that are not quite on the top level an opportunity to, you know, show themselves on stream, to also give them some experience in a tournament environment, give them the opportunity to play for prize money here. And it's been a lot of fun, and we have seen some of the teams then actually also jump into tournaments, into bigger tournaments, which is always kind of nice. But for a lot of them, obviously, this is a much more relaxed environment to just like play a little bit, see where they can get in a tournament format. And yeah, it's kind of cool. We have a rule in the draft, as per usual in the tournaments that I host, so heroes can only be picked once, which has, of course, an impact, specifically when we're talking about amateur teams, where they don't have the same huge hero pool, so you can target them a little bit more directly with it. But now on Battlefield of Eternity, our first map in the best of 3 series, and we get a Stukov first pick. Okay, for the red team. Not really a first pick that I necessarily thought we would get right now. When it comes to the bans, by the way, Hanzo and Li Ming, 2 of the favorites in Battlefield of Eternity, have already gotten banned out. And we got the ban on Chromie. Whereas the Munchies are starting things off with Garrosh and Hogga. So, fair enough. Go for the front line here. When it comes to immortal damage, Vala, arrow build comes to mind. You could play Jimmy with Exterminator 2. Greymane also up. But we get Junkrat and we get ETC. And Junkrat has actually been played by the red team in the previous series already. So there are already some preferences that you can clearly see from them. I'm really more curious what the damage dealers for the Immortal are going to be. Or if we're seeing teams to say, like, you know what, we don't really care about rushing the Immortal. What we're more worried about, or what we want to do, is we want to win the team fight. And then on the back end of the team fight, then we're moving on to the objective and try to take that out. So Imperius gets banned at this point. That would be a nice follow-up stun. Still looking at this ETC pick. ETC obviously can be extremely nice in Battlefield of Eternity, because when you're defending, you can push opponents into the Immortal stun, or just slide in and lock them into that, and use therefore your own Immortal as a tool that ETC can build around, which is actually quite nice. And what happens oftentimes on the top level, if they can mirror that here, is a different question. ETC as a general tank, a little bit weaker than most that you would normally pick. But yeah, we'll see how much they can use him here. And here comes Anduin. So Anduin gets banned out as well. But for now, the question of what exactly the Munchies are going to grab. Ana and Vala. There's our Vala pick. And Ana with it. Ana honestly surprises me a bit. Unless they're now all of a sudden dropping Mephisto in. Or Malthael, sorry. Was more thinking about Malthael. And they want to go Tormented Souls and Nano Boost. Because what are you going to do? Are you going to boost Vala? I don't think so. And Ana, I mean, yes, you can always play Eye of Horus, but I think there's a lot more supports around at this point in the series that would give you a better standing. So, kind of curious what the last pick is. Stab, Stab, Kill is, of course, somebody that plays a lot of Valera, but I don't really think this is going to be the Valera game for him. And I'm totally wrong, he picks it still. Even for Battlefield of Eternity. So we get Thrall and Genji on the other side. Stab, Stab, Kill is picking his one trick. And, well, with that, we're off to the races. Battlefield of Eternity, everybody. Map number 1 in the best of 3 between Fields of Zeerman and the Munchies. The Munchies on the left side, the blue team, with an arrow build for Vala, played by Mia. We have Mekaku on Ana, Stab, Stab, Kill on Valera. The player name just makes me chuckle. Every single time that I read it, it is awesome. And that he is one-tricking more or less Valera is just added. It's just cherry on top of it. We got Brahms on Garrosh, Griffiths on Hogga. And then over on the right side of the map, we get Casado on Thrall, Sjosten on Junkrat. Elixir on ETC, Yama with Genji, and Sasori is playing Stukov for the red team. So, well, they actually made a smart choice here now that I think about it. On the one hand, we have Sasori, and on the other hand, look what Mekako picked. He picked Granny Chio. Yeah, that's a win right there. Granny Chio is going to absolutely outmatch Sasori as she always has. She's going to wreck him hard. I mean, even with Sakura not being in the game, she should be able to deal with him quite nicely. And then it's going to be an easy way to victory. Bonus points if you actually understood this. Now, down at the bottom of the map, we have our 3 versus 4 because Genji moved towards the top lane and started to do his thing there. All the way down at the bottom of the map. I guess they're waiting for the first camp to pop up here, but the red team is already more than ready to try and play around it, especially with Genji now making his way down to the bottom. So let's see what he can actually do here. 2 stacks so far for Vala. ETC gets attacked quickly by Valera. And this is a perfect example, by the way, for a preference pick, right? Valera is not a hero that you see a lot in top competitive play. I mean, essentially Valera is so bad there that you never see her. Even when we incentivize teams by putting out bounties where they could earn extra money by playing heroes like Valera, we've only seen her attempted 2 or 3 times, so not really a whole lot. But when you're playing on the amateur level, of course, there's a lot more wiggle room, a lot more margin of error, and you can really, just by one-tricking certain heroes, have a big impact with them and exploit mistakes on the other side. And this is a really good example. So we've seen previously already Stab Stab Kill play with Valera, and their team coordinated well around it, and they got their hits in and their kills in. So now they're trying to do the same thing here again, and it's just one of these preference plays that you will see way more on an amateur level. Which is also why I think a lot of these games that you're now seeing is a bit more relatable to the everyday Heroes of the Storm player, where you can just see, okay, how would this maybe look on in my games too? Because while we're normally focusing on the top level, where you have the grandmasters and the people that are former pros, this is oftentimes platinum players, silver players. In this case, I think we also have a master player playing. So now that we're moving slowly through the groups in the tournament, obviously the players are going to become stronger and stronger. But especially in the first rounds and the lower bracket, we had a couple of teams that are centered around silver players that even might have the occasional bronzy in there. So there's all kinds that are now coming together on this, and you can really then see, okay, what works, what doesn't work, and how do players on this level play around certain preference picks like Valera. Is the team able to coordinate around it, yes or no? And in this case, the red team is able to get the camp, so they're actually able to snack that away. Vala always attempting to get more stacks together in this, and apparently the team has a bit of an issue here. Sjosten with the second pause doesn't have any remaining there anymore, so I hope whatever the problem is for them that they are fixing it, but it seems like Junkrat is the one that is dropping out of this quite a bit. And for the red team, not really great. The pause didn't have a big effect on them in the last encounter because they were still able to grab the camp. But yeah, if the connection in general from Junkrat has some too many hiccups, then this could be a problem further down the best of 3 series, because quick reminder, we're still in game number 1. And well, Junkrat is back. It was actually not Junkrat alone that dropped. Apparently a few more players were also dropping out of the game, so not sure if that is a server issue or if it was on the player side, but either way, before the second objective, the first objective pops up, we are ready and good to go. Now, Vala with a repeating arrow now. 4 stacks to her name. Definitely nothing crazy. So, they are going to get some damage on that Immortal. She doesn't have a level 7 yet, which is, of course, the crucial one. But we'll see. Genji does Genji things and dies. And Hogga is a happy camper. So, yeah, Genji is down. Went a little bit too deep on this. Thought he could get the kill on the reset, but was proven very quickly wrong. And then paid the price. Now, he is back in time for the Immortal. Has, of course, to move into the middle of the map. Both teams have now also taken their Shaman camp. But with that, it is time to go and see which team takes the lead on this. Thrall is stacking on level 4. Going to try and complete this. So, full meta build for him for now. And, well, let's have a bit of a look. Up at the top, for example, seems like not enough damage to net them the halftime show, but still they're trading okayish into this 2,000 hit point difference. As stab kill with Valera is again looking for targets, gets quickly attacked and has to jump out. Gets even hit by the Immortal. They're not picking up the kills the way that they want to, but they are able to get damage in on the Immortal, and it seems like the red team is going to win the objective for now, and indeed they do. So we have only a single kill in this game at the 4-minute mark, despite the fact that we had multiple counters already. Now, yeah, they go for ETC, and Elixir gets away. The problem is that Garrosh is getting fully body blocked here, and is likely not going to make it. Ana was trying her best to keep him alive, but that didn't work out. Now she herself becomes the target. They go again for ETC, but Ana is low, might die here, and indeed does. They pick up the kill, go for Valera, try to drop her too, and this seems like it's the third one in a row. 3 kills as the objective is already up on the map, so now big value also from the Immortal. Was a small shield, but they're zoning out Vala, and that will be lots of damage on the fort. So kudos to Fields Abzir, man. That was a huge move by them, and it allowed them to take out the first fort of the game. Definitely a big accomplishment given the situation that they found themselves in. And it all centered around ETC initially being attacked and being able to escape, as Garrosh got caught a second later. Thrall missing a wolf, and therefore back to 1 stack. Vala is currently attempting to stack this up a little bit more so that for the next objective she's going to be fine. But they're going for the attack on Garrosh again, and Genji is really threatening Ana very heavily here. So immediately on her upon spawning. But for the red team, everything is going really well right now. 1 fort taken out, leading experience, leading kills. If they can build on that, then fantastic. Thrall with another opportunity to get some stacks together with the Wolf, but as I said, he gets hit hard and killed. Quest reset back to 0. Thrall gone. 5 versus 4 now. They're hoping to get ETC as well, but Elixir is able to move out of the fight. Nice step back for the Munchies. Objective not back up yet. ETC. Okay, slides out. Not really a problem for him. But if he gets caught there by Valera, for example, this could already backfire again and put the blue team a bit ahead. Now, as is, just structurally, blue team obviously behind. But now with the next objective coming up and them trying to get some more mercenaries at the bottom of the map, there's of course a chance for the blue team now to try and turn this around by grabbing the objective, destroy a few forts on the other side to just draw even in structures. But with them going for the camp at the bottom of the map, the red team has just moved towards the top and is easily taking out the entire wall here, so that's a freebie. And a big one at that. Objective is popping up and insta party time. Vala, that's who we need to look out for now, but she has only 8 stacks. She has her level 7, which is going to be huge. Nice sleep dart, by the way. But is it enough to get a kill? And the answer is, well, maybe. Maybe now. They're going for ETC. Initially, it definitely was not enough, but they were able to go in for a second hit on ETC and destroyed him. So the main tank gone. Well done. And now the opportunity for the Munchies to get an Immortal and maybe a bit more with that. They have the lead in experience, which is going to propel them towards level 10. And that makes it extremely uncomfortable for the red team to engage into any kind of fight here. So with level 10 abilities, we're getting Decimate. We have the Rain of Vengeance. Horderpult is in. Nano Boost. And they should be able to win this one quite handily, as the red team also picks up their level 10 abilities. And yes, that shield is solid. That's 12,500 HP or points on the shield. And of course now the chance to repay the red team at the top lane. 3 kills to 3. Sundering, yeah, Sundering could even tee up a mosh pit, and then, yeah, I'm not quite sure what that was. That mosh was very, very forced, and essentially just a cooldown burn. So that unfortunately did nothing for them. ETC was a bit over-eager, if you ask me. Was really hoping to get that done, but the rest of the team wasn't even... I mean, they were not on the same page there, for sure. So now the shield is gone, but so is the wall. And the Immortal is starting to move in, and they're going to try and take this one out. to draw even with Fields and Zierman. So the Munchies are doing okay here. They're firing away. There's also Junkrat, who is a bit of a problem. Here comes the stun. And they tried the follow-up from Junkrat, but Hogger was able to move back out. Mission accomplished, though. I mean, for the Munchies, this is exactly what they wanted. They took the fort out. That's all that they can essentially get in a situation like this, or the best they can do, unless they are getting multiple kills, and that wasn't really the case. Thrall is still working on his level 4 talent. That obviously was reset several times now. Earlier, Mr. Wolf, and he got killed. So now he finds himself on one single stack. Vala is at 14. It's not really great on a level 1 either. But she is slowly getting those numbers up. And if Nia is just being consistent around it throughout the game and picks them up wherever he can, they should have a solid damage output in the late game. Not only against heroes, but even more importantly against the Immortal. So with a well-stacked arrow build on Vala, you can take that Immortal down within seconds, pretty much solo. Especially, of course, if it ends up being like a crazy late game where you have Acrobat as well as your level 20 talent. And 13,000 damage now for Hogger. Vala is catching up. She is on 13,000 as well. They're going for ETC, and they get the kill. ETC is gone again. Hogger got boosted, nano boosted, and is taking another one as they take down Stukov. Nice. So it's 5 kills to 3, and more momentum for the Munchies as they are able to build that up. Hogger is capitalizing on the support that he gets from Ana. Has now spiraled a bit out of control in the damage on the blue team side. Still not able to bring the same numbers in that Genji does for the red team, but strong. The level 13 talent is ready. That gives us, again, Strangle for Valera. And we got the Blood Craze for Garrosh. With Vala heading into Gloom. And the red team catching up on this one as we speak, just in time for the next objective. So, yeah, this is about as good as it gets here. Objective is up, you get the talent, and now we can fight on eye level with your opponent. So, let's see what the red team can pull off in order to regain some control on Battlefield of Eternity. Yeah, there's a double camp, by the way, at the bottom of the map now pushing for the blue team. So their timing in setting this up is great. Is really great. This is going to do tons of damage down here. This will eliminate the fort. That fort is gone. If nobody rotates down and instantly starts dealing with this, then this is just a fort that won't exist in a few seconds. And it's already way past 50% HP, even with Junkrat defending. It might still fall, but of course it also means that the red team doesn't have the heroes in the middle to properly defend this. So we have the Munchies moving in, using Vala to try and take the Immortal down, and they win the halftime show mega easily. The fort at the bottom of the map is also super low. I have, by the way, not seen that skin yet in full action. So, still not quite sure what I think about it. On the one hand, it's a funny art style. On the other hand, I'm not quite sure if I think it's super ugly or if it's pretty nice. So, again, if you have any opinions on that, feel free to share them, because I am still torn. ETC goes down as we have the next attack from Vala this time. She got the nano boost from Ana. They're starting to move in here. Tries to connect a couple more hits, and they destroy Thrall again. He still has not completed his level 4 quest. That's a big Immortal for the Munchies. They are dropping this one. We got the Purifying Darts, by the way, for Ana. And things are looking very, very good now for the blue team. They were off to a bit of a rough start. Now, though, 7 kills to 3. Nearly a level ahead. Big opportunity to take the top keep out. And we're only 12.5 minutes into the game. So, Thrall back to business in a second. And, yep. Starting to move in here. Some people think it's the worst skin in the game. I'm still not sure. On the one hand, it's, I don't know, something is funny about it. Like, I can't really tell. On the one hand, I want to say, like, okay, it's not really a great skin. On the other side, the style is kind of interesting. I don't know. I really can't make up my mind. The Immortal is pushing at the bottom of the map and is only met by Thrall. The rest of the blue team is fully in force at the top and even escorting the catapults in to try and pressure the keep here. They're closing in on level 16 talents as well, which of course would help them even further to take control of this. And with the keep gone at the top side and the keep at the bottom of the map taking damage too, they are in a very comfortable position in the game now, where they can essentially just yeah, relax, chill, wait for the next objective, and then try and end the game with it. They're going to have a talent advantage for a bit longer, and the only question that really remains is what exactly are they going to do with it right now? There's still some mercenaries up that they could take. They could potentially push for the bottom keep a little bit, but the window isn't that big. You have half a level right now. So, yeah, most likely they're just going to end up taking the bottom camp, and that's about it. Don't think that they're going to push this further. And this is very much what it looks like. So, for now, we have also Manticore for Vala. The leading experience, as I said before, is not that big. And Thrall, for example, once that he picks up all of this here, all of the minions, is going to get a huge chunk of XP for the team. So, yeah, we'll see. The rest of them is now coming in too. Playing it a bit safe until they have level 16 challenge, which is now the case. And we get the synergy with the wolf for Casado, but the problem is the same. He has not completed his level 4 quest yet. And that's something that you kind of need to get the maximum value here. You want to have the cooldown reduction and the mana reduction as well, just so that you can play around this a lot more reliably. And we'll see if they can actually do it. So, right now, another flip by Garrosh. They go for Thrall again. ETC with the ult. But the save from Garrosh as Valera was in trouble. And Vala gets killed, but Genji dies in the process. So it's a trade in kills now between the Munchies and Fields of Zir, man. Horderpult is coming in. ETC straight up targeted and gets murdered. That's the second kill for the Munchies. They have the numbers advantage now. They let go of the camp that they were thinking about grabbing and instead are moving in on the objective again. With Vala gone, they don't have their main damage dealer against the Immortal, but they can still, of course, do some damage with Ana and with Valera here. And the red team is highly uncomfortable heading into this. They want to wait for at least Genji to come back, I assume. But that also means that Vala will be back on the board and can slowly do her thing there as well. So, damage-wise, we now have Valera as the top damage on the blue team with 24,000. We get 30,000 for Genji. And they go for the objective. But with Vala back, now they can focus on the Immortal. Junkrat and Hogger are the only ones that haven't died in this game yet. Yeah, Vala's coming in. And it's arrow time. Well, there we go. Could have been a little bit faster on this, but it doesn't really matter. They're in a great spot on that. And they started to chunk the Immortal down. Genji comes in deep, pretty much alone. Nano boost on Vala, X-Strike, and Genji has a problem. So he needs to be careful. Yeah, Genji has really an issue here, and I'm not talking about his drinking problem. Like, he needs to be careful when he makes those massive engages, because he was very much alone and isolated there. It's kind of funny that the blue team still hasn't made the final push, but all they have to do is get close with Vala for one single arrow rotation. And she's going to destroy this. One arrow is already saying hello. And that was even enough. There's also catapults on the core now. And I guess Thrall is going to take care of them. So not really a problem. But the problem will now hit that bot lane. And it will hit it hard. I mean, seriously. At this point, we're going to get... that keep is gone. Can they go for the core? Given how big the shield is, there's definitely a big chance. Thrall has still not completed his level 4. I know I sound like a bit of a broken record on it, but it's still noteworthy. He has missed a couple of wolves in the meantime again. Now he's sitting at 1, and it makes a difference. It really does. So they go for ETC again. Yeah, Valera is coming in. She wants to kill. They are going to maybe get one on Genji too, and indeed they do. Genji down, Thrall targeted, drops the Sundering, but gets eliminated. The Immortal is about to take the keep out, and while the Immortal is fighting the structures, the rest of the red team is now on the run. Keep gone, and this looks very much like the 1-0 in the best of 3 series. Elixir gets targeted, they want ETC again, and the shield on the core is falling. They go for ETC, and if he doesn't get his cooldown back, then he is toast, and that's the case. So, nicely done. Munchies at the beginning of the game, maybe a little bit struggling, but now the victory in this first game of the best of 3 series. The blue team takes it on Battlefield of Eternity. GG.
We're going to head straight into game number 2, but before we do, once again guys, if you enjoy the coverage on the channel here, if you enjoy the match,
please like and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. It also helps to boost the game to an even wider audience. And of course, it helps to get people back into Heroes of the Storm, as the algorithm recommends the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past. So again, before I continue, if you haven't done it yet, subscribe to the channel and like the video. Appreciate it. And with that, we're heading straight into the second map of the series. Well, we're going to Cursed Hollow, our next map in the best of 3 series. Potentially the last one, of course. The Munchies are in the lead. So let's see if they can win another one. Valera now again victorious for Stab Stab Kill, and I actually checked his profile between the games because he also has a Valera portrait, and he has 1,500 games on Valera. It's his most played hero with a win rate of roughly 64%, and his second most played hero is Li Ming with 750 games. So I can pretty much already guarantee you that if the blue team doesn't get rid of Li Ming in some shape or form by either picking or banning her, that there is a very, very good chance that the Munchies are going to pick Li Ming here. So, time will tell, but this is exactly what I talked about. If you're familiar with your opponent, you can target a lot of specific heroes on the other side and try and throw a little bit of a wrench into their plans. Cursed Hollow as a second map has been chosen by the red team, so they didn't go for first pick, first ban, but they were more concerned about going here into Cursed Hollow, and we get the Haka as a very quick pick for the Munchies, so they want to have a global on this map. Fawcett is technically up too. Here comes Anduin, and we get Blaze. Nice start for them, of course, as well, but that immediately lets me to question what we are now getting from the blue team. Are we gonna get Li Ming? Is it something that they're willing to potentially take later and risk her getting banned out? Or what's going to be the play? The Chromie ban also a bit of a targeted ban against the blue team. But here comes Muradin, and we get Rhaegar. Pretty standard stuff so far from them. Muradin is a good choice no matter what map you're on. The Haka, great with his global. You get Rhaegar for added clear on any mercenary camp. The burst heal. But I'm still looking at the 2 damage dealers, and yeah, kind of curious what they're getting, if it's going to be Li Ming or not. But again, on the other side, what is the red team now going to do? They start things off with Anduin and Blaze. Genji has obviously already been played, so they can't go for an Anduin and Genji comp to try and engage with a light bomb. Anduin is still a great hero in no matter what combo you play him. Just his trait alone is so insanely powerful, it's just nuts. And once that you are on level 16, that's obviously even more so the case. That he is a whiny little crybaby doesn't change that he's good. But Li Ming gets banned out, so that answers that question. Well, if you want to really pick her, then you have to pick her a little bit earlier. And that makes things interesting. Because what does that now mean for the blue team and their choices? What are they now going to go for? Zeratul gets banned against Fields Obsidian. They played, obviously, one of the previous series, a Zeratul and Illidan lineup. So that's something where the Munchies just look probably at the game and say, like, you know what? Yeah, we don't want to deal with that again. So let's just ban Zeratul out and remove one of the tools. Sylvanas, still super powerful pick for the red team. And we get Johanna, so Johanna Blaze as your front line. Always a win. But the moment of truth. Blue team. What's it going to be? Interestingly enough, if I remember correctly, looking at the profile of him, Stab Stab Kill had as his 3rd and 4th most played heroes frontliners. And well, there we go. He goes for melee hero. Yeah, goes for melee hero with Illidan. I think it was Diva, and I don't know what was 4th. But Illidan is in, and we get Orphea. Okay. So, definitely, I can guarantee you they wanted Li Ming. So definitely changes the momentum slightly in the draft, but Illidan can still be quite annoying. And on the other side, we now get Jaina to round things out. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready for the second map, Cursed Hollow. We have Fields Obsidian against the Munchies. Let's see which team claims victory on map number 2. The Munchies on the left. We got Mia on Orphea. We got Brahms on Muradin, Griffiths on the Haka, Stab Stab Kill on Illidan. I guess Illidan can stab and kill a little bit. It's not only Valera. He has his massive blades there, so might be a little bit more, a bit of a less subtle stab, but still, you can do a lot with him. Mekaku on Rhaegar, and over on the right side for Fields Abzir Man, we got Elixir on Johanna, Casado on Blaze, Yama on Sylvanas, Sasori on Anduin, and we get Josten on Jaina. So, what can they pull off with Jaina's burst damage here? If they have a nice setup with Jojo and Blaze, Jaina should be able to deliver a lot of damage. And by the way, on a bigger map, we now have Unending Hatred for Illidan. Always a win. I like the Ding Ding talents, and he should be able to get a lot of stacks as they are starting to go through the game here. Sylvanas is already moving down to the bottom of the map. Noteworthy that the red team did not try to go to one of the side lanes and take a tower down with the help of Sylvanas. So they didn't make any play which you normally see, or at least very often see, to try and take a tower down very quickly with her, or at least to 50% of its HP before then falling back. So they did none of that. We have the Fingers of Frost for Jaina. And in the middle, she's all with a board cloud. Okay, the sleepy cloud is in. And over on the left side, yeah, Mekaku and Sub Kill are already going for it at the next camp. And honestly, that is a nice combo and takes the camp fairly quickly. So they're going to have pressure through the middle, whereas the red team decided that they would go for their Siege Giants. And there's a little bit of a difference also in the Siege Giant camps, of course, because the first tribute is going to spawn at the bottom of the map. So if you're timing the opposite Siege Giant camp for the blue team in properly, then you're going to have a situation where the red team has to make a decision whether they want to throw all of their forces at the tribute and try and claim it, or whether they're more worried about the Siege Giants at the top lane. So there's always potential to split the opponent's attention a little bit, and for the Munchies that would go a long way. So if they time that properly, as they should, they will get value just because of the spawn position alone, which is one of the reasons why them prioritizing the Bruiser camp makes perfect sense here, at least at the beginning. Illidan going for those camps means, on the other hand, though, that he's not really focusing on getting more stacks for his level 1. So that progress is going to be slowed down a little bit. So yeah, he's going to get this quickly, and now he can delay the capture. Should probably not... Yeah, you see, that I don't like. Takes it too early, which means that Blaze is going to have plenty of time to take it out. Normally, what you would try to do here is just delay that, have Dehaka at the top lane, and then escort the Siege Giants in and play it that way. And then you can also play for the tribute. The way that they've done that right now should give Blaze plenty of opportunities to take this one out very early. And yeah, they're not gonna run into too much trouble at the bottom of the map if, for now, Blaze is trying to rotate there. But Dehaka should also not be here. Dehaka should honestly be at the top. Illidan could deal with the middle and then rotate towards the fight. As the situation unfolds, we have now Fields Abzir Man with 4 heroes against 3 at the bottom of the map, and they're getting zoned out very quickly on top of that too. Seems like the blue team is totally fine with giving this one up, not even trying to delay or fight for it. So yeah, they just don't care. They're just fine with it. They could have used their tools a little bit more. Even if you give up the tribute, they could have gotten a bit more out of it. And now Dehaka tunnels in. I guess they thought they had an opportunity to take down Jojo, but that was still something that I didn't expect them to do now. Haven't seen a kill yet in the game. Quest for Illidan and the Gambit for Dehaka. And Illidan is now getting targeted at the top and is likely going to die. Yes, did not see that Sylvanas move coming. So that's Illidan gone. His stacking slowed down. Bottom of the map, Ophir can just slap away hard. Went into on point. And Allegrissimo plus the Ravenous Hunger as level 7. Yeah, and up at the top, Dehaka, he has taken over on the experience side after Illidan was eliminated. There was also first blood in the game. We have the channel on the tribute, but it would be a bit of a shocker if the blue team would simply get this one for free, especially given the spawn position, of course. So that's something where if you are on the red team, you should have a huge interest to try and grab this one, and if not, then at least delay it until nearly endlessly. And they have now taken it, so that's 2 tributes on the side of the red team. Illidan again in trouble, and he's dead. So, Illidan dying twice already. Got a few stacks for his level 7, but definitely not scaling into the mid or late game yet. And Muradin also barely makes it out of the fight here. I mean, he was eating tons of damage in that one. So, good that he was able to escape, but that could have become very, very tricky for him. But yeah, he's able to move out. So, good move. And all the way up at the top, we have now Blaze going up against Dehaka. Illidan already on the boss. So, they're trying to go for the boss play. And the red team has not sniffed that out. They have also not made a move for their own camp either. So, that's the next thing. This is actually... they're actually just waiting at their own camp here. So... this is gonna be a little bit awkward for them. Jojo figured it out, but a bit too late. So now this boss has been taken for free. At some point, obviously, they were wondering, hey, where exactly is our opponent? They're not doing anything on the map. So maybe we should double check, but they were too late to do anything. So now what you have to do is to, first of all, worry about your own boss, but also make sure that you're gonna get the next tribute, because this one might now be a freebie for the blue team, given that the red team also doesn't necessarily need it in this case. Simply because they already have 2. So you don't need to make that play for it. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Orphea gets it with no resistance whatsoever. The boss has been targeted at the bottom of the map. Has done some damage to the fort, but not more than that. And yeah, top side, they're trying to take the next one. It's a little bit tricky here, if you ask me. They're just moving in and they're relying on the opponent, not figuring that out. And that starts to become a little bit tricky for them. And it seems like they are walking away with this. Muradin can guard this, has already figured this out, but the team should have enough time. Or do they? They might just not have enough. So, yeah, they're slowly moving away. Illidan with a hunt. Light Bomb gets executed as a counter, and Illidan just dies. So he just committed honorable Sudoku as he moved in, and they lost Muradin in the same fight. They are not the only ones. They kill against Orphea, and this is really where things are starting to fall a bit apart in the team fights. Keep in mind, blue team hasn't gotten a single kill yet. They're doing pretty okay on structural damage because they're stealing all of these bosses, but not a single kill, and here comes the curse. Dehaka could interrupt. I actually thought he would try, but nope, they eat that curse, and now they have to obviously defend. But yeah, blue team is very much so struggling to get kills, and Illidan is also not getting a lot of stacks together. He's sitting at 8 stacks right now. We're already 8 minutes into the game. So he needs to at least complete the quest. You want to stack it way past it, of course. But a quest completion as soon as possible to just get a bit more damage is, yeah, pretty much needed. So they are fighting this one out. Sylvanas and Blaze have taken out the top 4. This is still getting pushed. Level 13 talents already. Illidan is taking out what he can here, and especially dealing with the catapult, of course. But somebody needs to go to the top lane, and it's gonna be Dehaka. Which leaves Illidan all around the bottom of the map, trying to take the next one out here. Jaina says hi, but also has to be a bit careful because she is completely alone. Yeah, Jaina needs to be really careful here. Illidan can hardcore punish her. If he knew that she was completely alone with Hunt still available, can always jump out. But yeah, Jaina moves in. Hunt is ready. Light Bomb connecting with Illidan. In comes Dehaka. Ancestral on Illidan. They're really trying to get him into a position where he can get some kills here. And they're able to take Anduin down. So the healer gone. Some more stacks for Illidan. Jet Propulsion connects beautifully though. But Illidan is still on the run. Might be able to get out. Or Fear not so much. And the Blessed Shield hits Dehaka as they're trying to take Mikaku apart. He might still be able to get away, but Dehaka, he's not so lucky. Dehaka is the one that falls next. That's now 2 heroes on the blue team that have been obliterated. And with the help of Sylvanas, it's likely going to be another structure that falls now. They're coming to the middle, take down the fort. 7 kills to 1. Feels Abzir, man, pushing this very, very aggressively now and hoping to force a 3rd game in the series. For good reason, of course. You don't want to drop down into the loser's bracket in that situation. Damage output, we got 20,000 for Orphea. not quite able to hold a candle to what we're seeing from Jaina and Sylvanas with the 24 and 27,000. As the map now opens up with forts destroyed, there's a chance that Illidan is going to start doing a bit better. But at least for now, it's a bit tricky. Yeah, he's definitely having some problems here. Died 3 times. Once that he picks up a bit more momentum, completes that level 1 quest. There is still hope, of course. But they need to carry the momentum in the team fights a lot further than they did thus far. And of course, the gap in experience is not that crazy yet. But it's something that should at least worry them. Level 16 will be ready in a few seconds. And it very much will lead to another easy tribute for the red team. Boss at the bottom of the map, up in 13 seconds. And yeah, I want to know what the blue team, and also what the red team is going to do about this. Because technically with level 16 talents, they could now try and make a play for it. Illidan wants his quest completed. And of course, there's also his level 7. He's at 8 stacks now. In a few more team fights, if he gets a couple, then he can do more there as well. Jojo's already rotating towards the boss at the bottom of the map. Very likely they're going to try and make a solo play for it, and Illidan has to fall back. They know about the rotation, so he's not risking anything here. Muradin is just sitting in the shadows here, but the level 13 talent is so close for the Munchies that the red team is not making that play. I was expecting Jojo to throw out a Blessed Shield here, though. That looked for just a second like it would be a perfect opportunity to try and force a fight before the opponent has 16 and see if they can get a kill here. Now, so now it's ready. Blades of Azeroth are in. Illidan, first of all, Bunker gets forced very, very early. Bunker is already out. No ults used on the other side. Illidan gets a little bit of damage in. Here's the isolation. And the hunt gets used. The light bomb as a counter, as they've done the entire time. And the Ancestral does not connect. Jaina gets the kill on Illidan before the Ancestral is there. And now the team is again on the run. Dehaka might be in trouble, and he dies too. But this is the game the entire time. I mean, you can really tell how the team is waiting for Illidan to engage. And whenever Illidan starts using Hunt, Anduin throws out the light bomb. That's essentially what happens here. He holds light bomb back. The second Hunt comes in. He uses it, and Illidan gets stunned as he engages. It has happened 3 times now, I believe. And this is honestly starting to become so much of a pattern that Illidan should try and play around this a bit. Should not use it that early in the fights. He can still use it later, but maybe try and bait the light bomb out earlier, or go on a target where Anduin isn't around, try and use it on the back end of the fight. I mean, there's multiple ways on how you can deal with this, but the problem is still the same. Now we have the boss taken at the bottom of the map. The defense should be fairly straightforward. It's not going to take the keep out or anything, but this is pinning them down. And it allows the red team to get the second boss. Now, there is another tribute spawning. This could be a battle over the curse if the blue team grabs it. They defend against the boss at the bottom of the map fairly quickly. I mean, the wall is even still standing, but the next one at the top has now been claimed. But it's a 1.5 level lead, so if you don't go for the tribute here, then which one are you going to fight for? So the blue team might actually make a choice to fight for this tribute instead of going for the boss defense at the top. There is definitely an argument to be made for this. But Jaina's in, and nobody's doing anything about it. And Illidan is fucked. I'm sorry, but that was stupid. Like, I'm really sorry, but that was a pretty bad move. In this case, if you can hunt somewhere, yep. If not, try and hearth out. But that one was telegraphed. That was a snail mail info that there's a rotation coming and Illidan is gonna die. They seen it through the middle. And unless I really just missed it and they snuck through the bottom, but they went straight up through the middle and in vision. So Illidan was moving away, but way too late. So now the keep at the bottom of the map is getting nearly destroyed. The one at the top is eating tons of damage, but not enough to seriously threaten it. But the situation that I pointed out earlier is now unfolding right in front of us. We have level 20 about to kick in. Another tribute is spawning. That's the third one now for Fields of Zearman. I stand by what I said earlier. Blue team should have ignored the topside boss and fought for the tribute. That was their best bet of fighting an even talent team fight and potentially winning it and gaining the momentum by cursing the opponent. Now they're eating their second curse. And the opponent is level 20. So this is tough. This is gonna cost them keeps. Illidan is finally completing his quest, so good for him. But it's also 15 minutes into the game, so it's simply too late. But yeah, they're gonna lose a lot now. They should have fought for the tribute earlier. If they lose the fight, the game is likely gonna go full on downhill. But better in that situation where they have a massive opportunity at a comeback than here, where they're now gonna be struggling on all sides. Again, Light Bomb forced him back. Dehaka now down as the fight shifted towards the side laner. And Fields of Man is just on a tear in this one. The bottom keep will fall to the Winions eventually. Core, obviously, is what Fields of Man is now aiming for. And with a level 20 talent, I mean, why on earth wouldn't they? Nice damage maybe here from Ophir, though. Ophir gets some damage out. They're isolating Jaina, and that is a kill. Nice. They're holding strong on the core, but it doesn't change the fact that they just lost their top and their bottom keep. So 2 keeps destroyed, and you're basically down to 1 structure plus core. They will get level 20 here, but the Munchies, if they can get a comeback here, that would be incredible. That would be absolutely incredible. I mean, picture that for just a moment, them hitting 20 and now bringing it back. So far, they haven't destroyed a single fort. But the next tribute would be a curse. They have 2 globals with Illidan and with Dehaka. So technically, if you win the next team fight and you get the tribute, you got some potential here. The rotation towards the top is already ongoing. Red team is moving in, but this fort is lost for free. At least some of the catapult pressure is now gone. And Illidan, of course, now also getting a few more stacks together. He's going to stack this further. We're having him at only 12,000 damage, which is barely above Dehaka. But they're taking a couple of camps, and the next tribute is going to spawn all the way up at the top. So Dehaka is going to push out the bot lane as much as he can. Funnily enough, Rega has still not died. He's the only one that keeps surviving and doing his fight. But, yeah. Dehaka already came in. They want this fight early. There's still siege giants at the bottom of the map. And they focus on Jojo. There's the jet propulsion. And bam, get wrecked. It's a quad kill. And they got absolutely destroyed in that encounter. Not even close. Total annihilation. 15 kills to 2. The jet propulsion, condemned to set it up. Everything came together. And the team gets murdered with now Ophir dying. It's a 5-man team wipe. So, here we go. That is game 3 coming up next as the Munchies lose on Cursed Hollow. Glorious victory for Fields of Man, and we're going to the final game of this best of 3 series. Nicely done by the red team. GG and well played. Coming up next, we have the 3rd map of the series. If you guys enjoy the content, also consider to head over to patreon.com/Khaldor. Support our efforts to keep the Heroes of the Storm esports scene alive there. It's the best way to support the channel. Huge shout out to everybody that is already a supporter. You guys are really helping to keep this alive, and you help us to host event after event for the game here. Especially after Blizzard abandoning this already 7 years ago. It's absolutely fantastic that we're still able to do this here. So big shout out to all of the supporters. And again, if you enjoy the coverage, if you would like to support us, head over there and check it out. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the next game. Game number 3, Infernal Shrines. Guys, it's going to be a quick draft because we made it nearly to the end of the draft already. And then the Munchies picked accidentally a hero that was already played before. So that led to a restart of the draft. But there were a couple of questions that I had coming into the draft, specifically when it was centered around Li Ming as a potential pick, because it's something that Stab Stab Kill has very high in his preference list. But this is obviously Infernal Shrine, so it's not really a hero that you get to see here a lot. But there is this preference factor when we're talking about the amateur scene. I can already spoiler this a little bit. It doesn't really look like this is going to make a difference here. But we have Tychus for the red team. Leo is going up against Urel, and the priority on Urel actually surprised me a bit when we started the draft out here. Seeing her this high up was a bit on the weird side. Now, with Varian taken, you obviously still want to have some burst damage so that you can operate through that taunt. And we'll see what exactly that's going to be for the Munchies. This is actually where the draft then started us off, or where we left it off on the previous end. Diablo, great to get some extra stuns in against the walls from Leoric, but also around the shrines. And we get Greymane. Okay, so Khaldor's Greymane now for the blue team. They tried to pick Thrall earlier and then realized that Thrall was already taken, so they're now deviating away into Greymane instead. Khaldor's was always something that they had planned to pick here. So now the red team needs to respond to this and see how they're going to deal with it. But interesting situation, for sure. Because now instead of having that triple front line, you have with Greymane still somebody that can go melee, but there's way more damage behind it. And obviously you can attempt to capitalize a little bit more on those taunts from Varian and also the potential follow-up with the Gravity Lapse. And we get Kerrigan. Triple front line on the side of Fields Abzirman with Leo, Diablo, and Kerrigan. So there's a lot of stun and CC coming in as they are trying to win the series to move on to the winner bracket final. So, without further ado, Infernal Shrines, let's see who takes the victory. Munchies against Fields Abzirman. It is time for the final map in this winner bracket semi-final. Mikaku on Deckard Cain for the blue team. We got Mia on Kel'Thas. Brahms is playing Varian. Griffiths with the first pick Urel, so high priority on her for the team. And then, last but not least, Stab, Kill with Greymane. On the right side, Elixir with Diablo for Fields Abzirman. We're getting Leoric played by Casado. Yamar with Kerrigan. We got Sasori on Lucio this time, and Sjosten with Tyches. Full-on grenade build from the looks of it, at least starting us off that way with quarterback on level 1. And Kel'Thas obviously with Mana Addict. Not quite sure if he was trying to tease us a little bit. I was like, I'm really gonna go Convection, boys, but yeah, any Kel'Thas player that wants to win the game and prioritizes victory over just having some lulz is always gonna go Mana Addict. That is not in debate. Diablo might have a problem here, and yep, it's a lack of hit points. A chronic lack of hit points, so Diablo is down and has been eliminated. We have now down at the bottom of the map. Yep, Yamar moving in. And, well, up to the top, we got Leo taking control. Going full Janitor on us, of course. And down on the bottom of the map, the 4-man trying to take the next wave out, teeing that up for Kel'Thas to get his damage in. And let's just see. It was actually quite nice to have, for once, the draft this quickly. I mean, obviously, in our case, we had to go through it twice. But it would be absolutely... I would personally really like if the drafts were a little bit shorter. They were obviously toying around with that a bit, but also for custom games. You will never get players to agree with it. I mean, if you ask players, then they should obviously lengthen the drafts even further so they can debate more and like talk more about stats and do research and whatnot. But generally speaking, just for the viewing experience, it would be nice to just make the drafts a little bit shorter so that that draft length to game length ratio would be a bit more positive. Kel'Thas goes down. He's the first one to fall on the blue team, but not the only one. They are going in a full bloodbath mode. Varian and Tyke is taken out, and they are all inting full on for that camp. Everybody just tries to grab the camp. Diablo gets ripped apart by Greymane. Huge impact here as they're going for Lucio. The camp taken by the blue team. Kerrigan in trouble and gets also destroyed, funnily enough, by those Khazras. 6 kills to 2 at the end of the day, and an absolute slaughter with now nearly a level lead for the Munchies. Crazy start into game number 3, and the blue team popping off here. That should give them a lead on the first objective. They should at a minimum be able to pick up that level 7 talent. And yeah, big damage in that last one from Greymane in particular, as you can see here. Knocking at the 10,000k already, whereas everybody else is at a maximum at like 5,000-6,000. So they got tons of damage in. Now, once that we're having a few more coordinated fights that are maybe a little bit more stable, that combo potential with Kerrigan is going to be big. Especially with the follow-up that we could get, of course, from someone like Tyches. But for now, the Munchies must feel pretty good. Definitely was a tough loss on the last map. But now the chance to move on to the winner bracket final in Group B. And they're already working through that top lane a bit and trying to get the lead. A little bit surprised that they didn't try and get a bit more out of this, but we have Urel missing. She's at the mid lane, trying to get level 7 for them, and they have it now. But it's only a half level advantage, so if they want to capitalize on that, they really need to go. We have them with Burnt Flesh on level 7 now for Khaldor, and we also get the Divine Steed here. But this is really the moment to try and force some of these fights before the opponent has been able to catch up on it. They are letting the blue team, the red team, have the position though on the Shine. Finally some pressure against Leon. He's already ghosting out, but they've taken the lead with 20-11. Have now sent heroes towards the middle to take a few more minion waves out and grab themselves a level 7 talent. Blue team is slowly starting to pull a bit ahead. And yeah, is the red team still trying to fight for this? It honestly doesn't really seem like it. Seems like they're just okay letting the first one now go. They initially made a push for it, but now decided that they will still let this one slide. And we have the Arcane Punisher now for the Munchies. And the only question is, how much damage can they do? We gotta bait this over the wall. Abilities are being used a little bit late, but here comes Leo. Gets hit by the gravity lapse, and Leo is nearly dead. Oh my god. He's not gonna be useful for that defense, I can tell you that much. So this didn't go as well for the red team as they hoped for. Greymane in Worgen form right away, as they're still trying to get extra damage in on the fort. And kills, of course. They're aiming for Leo, and he is toast. Leoric is dead. The fort is down to 30% of its HP. Pretty successful first objective, honestly. That was nice. And they're still trying to see if they can maybe get a bit more out of that situation. Especially with the fort being this low. They're hoping to maybe even take it out. But the minion wave got destroyed, so now they gotta fall back. Kerrigan is not here. Urel isn't here. The two of them are still fighting it out at the bottom of the map. Going for the minion waves, of course, more so than anything else. With level 7 also the Lionheart here. Not trying to set that taunt up. Gravity lapse, taunt, Kerrigan. They go for Diablo, and he's in tower range as well. Kerrigan executes the combo, but doesn't hit it. So Varian, highly unimpressed. Could actually jump in again. They have level 10 right now. He still has taunt available. There's a bit of a slow. Lucio tries to get them out of this. And no taunt from Varian. I'm actually a little bit shocked here. They have level 10 abilities. This is the moment where they need to push and just destroy that fort. Wait for the minion wave and then make your play. And if anybody gets close enough to Varian, just dart in and taunt it up and get that kill. Nobody on the red team gets in range, so they fall back. Good for them. At least they're not losing anyone here. Now we have Kerrigan at the bottom of the map. Varian, of course, with the team destroying the top 4. That was the first major structure that was taken out. 7 kills to 2 overall. And the next objective is going to be in the middle of the map. Yep. So here come the level 10 abilities. The Frozen Punisher that comes up next is going to be fought over with Odin, which is going to be the big tool. We have Entomb here too. Now, there's the barbecue. You can make a pretty nice oven going full furnace with Diablo, Lightning Breath, and Leo Entomb. Drop the Entomb, and then you just burn everything in its path. So, they set this up nicely. They can barbecue the entire team. Well, not the entire team, but whoever they're catching with the Entomb. So, they're going to try on that. Bottom of the map, next camp about to be taken. Urel is already pushing the top lane out a little bit. They should definitely go for their Shaman camp and claim that in time when the objective gets announced. So that they can get top lane value. They are the team with catapults on the lane occasionally. To help them to destroy the wall on the keep, for example. Down at the bottom of the map, Diablo, by the way, now done with his quest, but down here at the bottom, the next wave about to be taken out. So if they stuck around just a little bit longer, they could potentially also take part of the wall out. But now we have the objective called up. They are going for the Shaman camp, but the red team a little bit fast on this. At the end of the day, that doesn't really matter too much. The only thing that they have to guarantee is that they get their own. They can stay at the top lane a little bit longer, then hey, even better. But even the position here should actually work quite nicely for them. Kerrigan is staying at the top lane, and the blue team is already looking for opportunities. A couple of bullets being YOLO'd out, and now it's just a question of whether or not he can move in for the taunt. Kerrigan is rejoining the team too, so they're going to make this 5 versus 5. And the blue team would like to have level 13, but they don't have the talent yet. Could get the minion wave in the middle now, but they're losing shrine minions. They're losing some ground here. Phoenix is out. Greymane wants the minions, gets the experience, and this is the moment where they have to make a play. 21 shrine minions against 12. Here comes the Entomb. Diablo trying for the barbecue, but he's down. Loses his soul stacks. They're trying to focus the attention on Leoric, and they kill him as well. 2 heroes down on the blue team, on the red team side. The big lead on shrine minions, but it's not big enough unless they're starting to lose heroes here. But it seems like Griffiths on Urel is just going to get the value for the team now. They're very, very quickly catching up here, but Diablo is back, so they're trying to use him to re-engage into this. Leoric is also about to respawn. It's going to be a close one. Kerrigan, though. Kerrigan is gone. They're pushing Lucio back. 35 to 30 shrine minions. The stacks are there. 38, 39, and they take it. They lose Leoric again, and they might lose Diablo too. Was it really worth it? That's the big question, but they got the Punisher. 11 kills to 2. Objective claimed by the red team, but they lost a lot in the process. Diablo at least made it. 18,000 damage for Kerrigan. She's top damage on the team with 35,000. Basically double what we see from Kerrigan for Greymane. So, yeah. The raw damage output mega heavily in the hands of the Munchies. And, yeah, bullet misses against Diablo. Top side. Urel just jumps out as the Entomb comes in. But they are still chasing this. Taunt is up in another 10 seconds. Well, it's going to take a moment. It's going to take 10 seconds to be exact. But they might have another chance to take him down too. Yeah, there it is. Don't even have to go for taunt. If they wanted, they could have tried to jump in on Tychus and drop the taunt here. But taking Diablo down, and this time for the full duration, is already a win for them. So now we have Greymane again on the camp. Everybody else is still fishing up some experience on the lanes. And there's still another Khaldor camp at the bottom of them that they can go for, which they immediately do. So 16 around the corner. That's a 2-level advantage for the Munchies. They should be feeling pretty confident here. But if they can get some more kills or at least take some structures down, that would of course be worth even more. And by now we have Ignite after the Pyromaniac. And now the opportunity to slowly whittle down the hit points of the bottom quad. Which honestly they should take. If you have a minion wave like this pushing in, what else are you going for? This is a great opportunity to try and get some damage in, maybe even a kill. You have a level 16 talent. Just going back for the camp, yeah, but push those advantages while you can. As long as you can safely pull that off. And I think at the bot lane they could have done a little bit more. Maybe now in the middle, it's a full 5 minutes pushing in for this. And is starting to make the move here. So they're going in for the fort, try and get some damage. The minion wave comes through. Camp is on its way as well. Kerrigan and Leo are all the way at the top and attempting to get some counter damage, but that means that this one is gone. Fort destroyed. 12 kills to 2 now. And Urel is going to be the one to move to the top of the map. Get the experience here. And keep the keep in a pretty decent experience lead. Situation could of course now change with the next objective, and it is spawning at the bot lane, which means that as long as this fort stands, you have a fountain for the red team at the bottom of the map, which is something that the Munchies are totally aware of. So if they have a chance to take this out, they will. But in this case, Fields of Zierman is going to try and defend this a little bit more diligently. They have a very good reason to do so. Level 16 talents for them available in half a level. Should be in time to get for the objective, but they're losing the camp. Yeah, this would have been nice for them to grab, but it's stolen away. And now the blue team can move over towards the left side, take this one too, and then just simply rely on the top lane pressure that they executed now. They have to take it quickly though, because the red team is already here. If Leo doesn't go to the top, by the way, this keep is going to take damage. This is now the second camp. They're trying to get value at the bottom of the map, and honestly, not really a dumb idea. They know that the camp top left is being attacked, so now they're trying to remove the fountain from the bot lane. There's still one in the middle, but I've seen worse plays. The problem is they haven't actually done it. So, yeah, they nearly got it, but they didn't quite. And now that top lane is a huge concern from my point of view. Fields of Zearman is going to lose a lot there if they don't send somebody back. And, well, Kerrigan is about to die and goes down first in the fight. Diablo will be second. He is getting destroyed. Down for the count. And now I suppose they can somebody to the top lane because, yep, they've lost that battle at the bottom of the map already. What the blue team could do is keep it at 39 stacks and then wait it out slightly. Leo makes it. He gets away, but this push is still coming. So they could keep it at 39, push that bot lane, and try to get a little bit farther ahead. And honestly, I like what we're seeing here. They're just simply going for the keep to try and take that out with the help of the 2 mercenary camps that they have here. So yeah, not bad. That's 14 kills to 2. The first keep destroyed. Punisher is taking care of the bottom fort. And this is where they could now rotate next in order to build on that damage even further. The only thing that they could have, as I said, done is delay the objective just a little bit so that they have a shot of getting to level 20 with it. But they're getting in damage here. Trying push for the middle as down at the bottom of the map. The wall is now getting attacked. No baiting over. So with the help of the minions that are here too, this is going to do tons of work for them. Yeah, the Munchies, they are starting to put the screws on. Leoric is now dead. Level 20 nearly reached. Keep at the bottom gets attacked. Kerrigan is gone. And now they go for Lulcio. So he is also eliminated. 17 kills to 2. They got mad after game number 2, didn't they? Losing the second map made them angry from the looks of it. So now the keep is taken out at the bot lane. They could focus on the one in the middle, but of course, if you are in a situation where you have a 5 versus 2, you go for the core straight away, especially with the help of the Punisher. And that's victory. The Munchies move on to the winner bracket final as Fields of Zearman drops down into the losers bracket. GG, well played.